from another dimension.
How many more spider people are there?
Hey, fellas.
Hello.
This could literally not get any weirder.
It can get weirder.
Okay.
Miles Morales is bitten by a genetically engineered spider and granted superpowers. Shortly after a device operated by Kingpin malfunctions, Miles comes into contact with Peter Parker and several spider people from alternate universes. Right off the bat, this movie is freaking hilarious. It comes from the spider people most of the time, but humor also rises from unexpected sources as well. I adore the art style and animation of this movie. It's a 3D animated movie with heavy influence from comic book aesthetics. You could argue that live-action movies are comic books coming to life, whereas this is comic books coming alive, if that makes sense. And with all the interdimensional weirdness going on, I think animation is probably the best medium to handle something like this. One of the coolest and most successful executions in this movie is the variety of spider people. Each one has a unique design, personality, sense of tone, something that makes it easy for each of them to stand out from each other. I think it was a really good choice to have a wildly diverse variety of spider people, as opposed to just having several different slightly altered versions of Peter Parker. The main Spider-Man of this movie is Miles Morales, and most key details of his origin are told in this story. And while he does have to share the screen with a wide variety of other spider people, it spends enough time with him to effectively introduce him to audiences who might not be familiar with this character. And on top of all this creative potential that the movie has, it also packs all of the right punches emotionally. Sony got such a good response from this film before it was even released that they have started developing spin-offs and sequels already. Please. Yes. I want to see more of the Spider-Verse. I went and saw this film twice, people. It was one of the most satisfying film-going experiences of the year 2018, and I give it 9.5 out of 10.
Everything is possible.
Even the impossible. Off we go.
Siblings Jane and Michael Banks are living together in their old family home during times of great struggle, along with Michael's 3 children. It's in the midst of all this that their former nanny, Mary Poppins, shows up to take care of the children. Emily Blunt as Mary Poppins is perfect, to the point that I suspect the ghost of Julie Andrews' performance in the 1954 film is possessing her for the duration of this movie. That, or she's just a really good actress. Point is, perfect. For all you Hamilton geeks out there, myself included, Lin-Manuel Miranda is in this movie as Jack the Lamplighter. Story-wise, this character fulfills a similar purpose as Bert the Chimney Sweep in the original film. Lin plays this role really well, not just because he has the stage experience needed for a movie that presents itself in this manner, but because he just looks so happy being there doing what he's doing, and that is the kind of energy that a character in this role needs. So much about this film feels like the original film. The story has a very similar structure and themes to it, and the music style is practically identical. I would say the biggest difference is that this movie can bring its story to life with modern special effects. The original film is known for doing some cool things, namely the fact that it combined live action elements and animation for a song sequence. And this film is able to accomplish a similar thing with a much smoother quality of presentation, and it's really visually appealing stuff. Speaking of animation, yes, there is traditional animation in this movie that perfectly emulates the Disney style, which is really awesome to see, with one caveat. Disney had to ask a bunch of traditional animation artists to come out of retirement in order to accomplish those sequences, which I think is a real shame because it makes it all too clear that they're not maintaining a traditional animation department at their studio anymore, and dang it, I would really love to see another traditionally animated Disney movie. I wasn't sure a Mary Poppins sequel was possible 54 years after the original film came out, but they made it happen. And the most important quality about this film, beyond the style, the music, the thing it rose up to that matches the original film is how happy it made me to just be sitting there watching it unfold. Mary Poppins Returns gets 9 out of 10. War ravages the world, with humans dwelling in both moving cities and land-based sanctuaries. The Predator city, London, is amassing power and aims to attack a stronghold. Meanwhile, Hester Shaw seeks revenge on its leader for her mother's death. The premise of having moving cities caught my attention visually, and being able to see the movie and see them in action was really neat. The feel of this world was also complemented well by the movie's production design. It felt very mechanical, visceral, it focused on the bells and whistles of it all, and it felt a lot more tangible than, a dystopian future where everything is a high-tech CGI touchscreen. The moving cities and structures were really cool, and there was some great cinematography to showcase the sheer enormity of these structures, namely the city of London. And this imagery and cinematography were accompanied by a decently epic musical score as well. Occasionally, this movie jumped back and forth between locations and events in short spurts of time, something that usually really annoys me about movies. However, it doled out the information as the story needed it, piquing my curiosity as I went. As the movie went on, I wanted to learn more. Unfortunately, that means there are a few story points that got just enough attention so that the audience knew that they played a part in the story, but not quite as much attention as they might have needed to land as strongly as they could have. The purest, most raw emotion of this movie come from the main character, Hester, and a robot named Shrike. Hester because her story gets the most emotional attention. It's the emotional core of the movie. And Shrike because that was just a very interesting type of character to explore, both in terms of function and his emotional capacity. This movie was aesthetically interesting, had a cool concept, and a decent emotional center. And while most of my words in this review have been dedicated to complimenting it, the time that's passed since seeing this movie, the impression has gotten a lot weaker, and I don't find myself making it easy to recommend for lasting enjoyment, watching it over and over again. It might be good for an initial viewing though, so give it a shot. My score for Mortal Engines is 7 out of 10. And that concludes this long procrastinated episode of Cold Cases for the month of December 2018. This is Detective Steve. See you next time.